Hey guys, today's math lesson, this is for Thursday, is division with rounding your quotient, okay? So in 5th grade, we always do one of two things. We round it to the nearest tenth or the nearest hundredth. So let me just remind you, if you're rounding a number to the nearest tenth, you underline the tenth spot, look behind, and ask yourself, is this number 5 or greater than? And it's a 5, so it's going to bump the 3 up. And so to the nearest tenth would be 8 4/10. If you're rounding to the nearest tenth and you have numbers behind the tenth spot, it's going to be wrong because you have to round it to the nearest tenth. So the nearest hundredth, you go to the hundredth spot, tenths, hundredths, underline it, look behind. Is this 5 or greater? No. So the answer would be 8 35 hundredths. Same thing. If it's asking you to the nearest tenth or the nearest hundredth, you have to round it to that spot. So I'm going to round this to the nearest tenth first, okay? So I got to get the quotient. 7 goes into 32 4 times 28. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So that is a 4. All right. Can't have a remainder, so I got to add a decimal and a 0. Bring it up. Bring down this. 7 goes into 40. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 5 is 35. Okay. If I'm going to the 10th spot, I got to get a number right here. So I'm going to go again. How many times can 7 go into 50? 7 times. 49, right? And that's a 1. So if I was going to make my answer the tenths in tenths, I would underline the 5, look behind, and my answer would be 4 6/10. Okay, let's say I want to do it in the hundredths. So I already have a number in the hundredths. I got to go to the thousands. So I'm going to bring another 0 down. And that will only go in there one time. So I don't have to solve this division problem. Some division problems, the decimal goes on is infinite. It can go on forever. It can be a repeating decimal. So that's when rounding really comes into play. You don't have all day to be trying to figure out an answer. All right. So if I was going to do the hundredths, put this here, I would underline the hundredth spot. Look behind, that's a 1. So for my answer to the nearest hundredth, it would be 4 57 hundredths. The nearest tenth would be 4 6/10. During on the Google form today, I have little Post-its that I worked out the problems to show you, okay? This is the last thing that's hard that you need to know to go to 6th grade. Okay, remember, Miss Warren, I've been telling you, things that you have to know how to do, okay? You have to master skills. You have to master adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing with whole numbers, with decimals, and with fractions. So, I mean, those are things that they're going to think that you already know. Things like algebra, variables, some of the things that we're probably going to do over the next 2 weeks, you don't have to know those. Those are just called introductory skills. And some of them are what's called developing. But when I put an M by the skill that you have to master, that means you have to own it. All right. So anyway, give me your best. All right. Love you guys. Bye.